So in this week's Parsha, the end of the Parsha, we have the V'hoya im Shemaya, the second part of the Shema, concluding with the mitzvah of Mezuzah. The importance of putting on every doorpost on the right side of the home, of your gates, and Mezuzah. Mezuzah, as we know, is first of all God's commandment. It's identifying as a Jewish home. It is Jewish protection, Shomer Dalsais Yisrael, protecting the person when he's in the house, out of the house. It is definitely something that every Jewish home wants to have, a proper mezuzahs, kosher mezuzahs, on each of the doorposts where it's necessary. In fact, we're getting already close to Rosh Hashanah, close to the month of Elul, as it says from the Go'onim that this is a good time to have the mezuzahs and the tefillin checked to make sure they're kosher and to make sure they're placed in the proper places. But let me tell you a interesting story that I was personally involved many years ago. I was on the Purim. I went to distribute Mishloach Manot packages to the Israeli consulate, which at that time was in one of the very exclusive, prominent malls, office building. Having distributed to all the staff, I had a few packages left. I figured I'm going to go down in a shopping mall and I'm certainly going to find a Jewish person to give him or her the Mishloach Manot. As I'm walking around, I notice in the store ladies' garment, and I noticed the person standing at the cash looked Jewish. I'm walking into the store. I didn't have a chance to say anything yet. The fellow takes out a $10 bill from his cash and says, "Ici pour vous, that's for you." I look at him and says, "I'm sorry. I didn't come to take anything. I came to give." Yeah? Ça n'existe pas. This doesn't exist. In fact, yes, I came to give you a Mishloach Manot for Purim, a Purim gift, and in fact, not one, two. One for you and one for you to give to another person, a friend of yours, acquaintance of yours, or any other Jewish passerby. He still looks at me in astonishment, and I explained to him, today's Purim, and I'm Purim giving out food gifts, and this is the mitzvah of the day. He was very impressed. He took the box, and as I'm leaving, he says, "Now what do you really want?" He still was not believing that somebody just came to give him, not wanting any money. Anyway, we befriended each other. Came to put on tefillin with him. And then I suggested to him, I said, "Look, you don't have a mezuzah on your doorpost, and it would be appropriate you should have one. There's nobody else here in the shopping mall that has, and there are a lot of Jewish people. My neighbor, in fact, is Jewish, and he doesn't have a mezuzah either." Says, "No, so you should be the first one. You should be the trendsetter." "Okay, but make sure you bring me one that would be unnoticeable." "Fine, not a flashy color one." His store was in a very prominent area of the shopping mall because it was right next to the information desk. I brought him the white mezuzah box with the mezuzah inside, obviously. He was a little taken back because the door frame was black. But he didn't say anything. We put up the mezuzah, the proper bracha, and have a wonderful day. That afternoon he calls me. "Can I put up another mezuzah?" I say, "What happened? Somebody stole it already?" He says, "No, I want to tell you what happened. Shortly after you left, an Israeli couple, middle-aged couple, comes into my store and asks me in a heavily accented Hebrew, Israeli English, "Can you please, do you know where we could buy a fur coat?" I look at him and say, "Look, my store doesn't sell fur coats. As you see, I'm selling quite risque clothing." He says, "Yeah, but we saw the mezuzah, so we figured we can trust you." And listen, he says, "I've been having over here in my store 2 fur coats hanging for years that somebody who owed me money couldn't pay me back, so he gave me those 2 fur coats. They've been hanging here with me not knowing what to do. I sold them both So maybe I could put up another mezuzah. It's good for business, he says. So, friends, make sure you have good mezuzahs on the doorpost. And by the way, I should add, from this friendship, today there are many families who are religious, and even some shluchim from the Rebbe. So, on this note, we want to have already the mezuzah on the big house, although we won't need the mezuzah, but the house we want. We want to pray together for the coming of Mashiach with the Beis HaMikdash, and to do so, let us all give an extra tzedakah. This will hasten it.